Hey, welcome to day number 20 on this Bible study journey. Today, what we're going to do in John chapter 15 is we're going to notice, or I'm going to help you recognize key words. Now, key words can be any words that are unique to a biblical author, a specific book, or even a specific passage, specific words that you don't see over the place, and ideas that you don't always see on the pages of Scripture that are unique and pretty rare, okay? But today what we're going to look at are specifically keywords that are repeating. When you are trying to figure out the main point of a biblical text, whether it's a story or just a chapter or a portion of Scripture, when you're trying to figure out the main point, some of the best ways to figure that out, or one of the best ways to figure that out, is to pay attention to any repeating words. I'm going to show you here in John 15. Jesus says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser." Okay, so already we see this idea of a vine repeated twice. In the first verse, Jesus is in the upper room speaking to the disciples, and we have someone who's the Father. Well, we know who the Father is. He's the vine dresser. He cares for the vine, and Jesus is the vine. Okay, now watch how often the word branch and the word fruit is going to be used alongside the word vine. I'm going to highlight any instance of branch in yellow. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, okay, fruit I'll highlight in orange, he takes away. I just want you to see this in a color-coded kind of way. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes. Why? So that it can bear more fruit, right? You might even want to underline the word bear or produce. It might be another word you see in your translation. The word bear, the word bear, the word bear. Apparently, bearing fruit is one of the main points here. Okay, verse 3, "Already you are clean because of the word I've spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you." Now, what you're about to see is a new word, which I will probably, I'm kind of doing this last minute, I'm going to circle in red, okay? This word abide. Abide in me and I in you, okay? As the branch, remember our branch? Just knock the camera. The branch cannot bear what? Bear fruit. We're going to be doing a lot of color coding, but you're going to see it, I promise. As the branch cannot bear fruit unless it abides in the vine, right? Remember, vine we're going to highlight in blue. Neither can you unless you do what? Abide in me. I'm going to get a better red. Just not a good red. Ah, yeah, much better. Circle, abiding. So you're starting to see how often, if you can see it on the camera, how often the word abide, bear, fruit, and branch, and vine has already been used in 4 verses. Okay, now I have the luxury of having read this text several times and taught through it and studied it quite a bit. And so I've spent the time digging this out, and you'll learn how to do the same. He says, "I am the what? The vine. You are the branches. Whoever abides in me, and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit." Okay, I'm going to circle the word bear, just probably the last time I do that because I'm getting confused with my colors. He it is that bears much what? Much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. Okay? So in 5 verses, how many times have we seen the word branch used? 4 times. How many times have we seen the word fruit used? 5 times. How many times have we seen abide used just in these 2 verses? 4 times. Right? So you're starting to get a picture of, hey, what's the main point of this passage? I think the main point of this passage has to do with abiding, has to do with bearing fruit, has to do with being a branch connected to the vine, right? So far, that indicates to me what is the main point of Jesus' little conversation here with the disciples. If anyone does not abide in me, he's thrown away like a branch. Now, there are other words I could be circling or highlighting for sure, but for the sake of this demonstration, I'm not going to get too lost in the details. I want you to see it. That we've seen the word branch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in 6 verses. That's a lot. So the main point of this text and Jesus' whole point of this discussion has to do with what? Branches abiding in the vine to bear fruit. That seems to be the main point. Meaning, once you find the main point of a text and you start to to figure that out by looking at the key words and the repeating ideas and words, then you can start to plug things in place, right? Because the main point provides the skeleton for that passage. So you can start to attach metaphorically, like the muscles, the organs, the skin, everything else that's going to come attached to that. But you need the skeleton in place. And that's what the main point of a passage is. The main point is the skeleton. Everything else is in addition and is built on the skeleton. So we need to see these things in their rightful place. He says, the branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish, it will be done for you. By this my Father is glorified, that you, what? Bear much fruit, and so prove to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. So guess what? Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love. So, circle abide. Just as I've kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I've spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full. So, notice, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of homework. In just verse 8, 9, 10, and 11, what are some newer repeating words that you see in those verses? Some words that weren't used in the last 7 verses, and indicate to you what this section of the passage is mainly about. Whatever it is, it's going to be connected to the idea of abiding as branches that bear fruit, abiding in the vine, right? So that's the main point we're starting to see. So whatever this main point is, 8 through 11 is going to be, it's going to be related to that main idea of being a branch that bears fruit connected to the vine, abiding in the vine, right? So your homework after this, and this isn't officially in the actual course, but here's your unofficial homework. Go do this. Read 8, 9, 10, and 11. Circle any other repeating words that you see. And then what I want you to do is try and figure out what these repeating ideas in verse 8 through 11 have to do with abiding in Jesus as branches that bear fruit, because he's the vine, all right? So this is just one example of how to trace keywords. I have a bunch of different workshops I've done, and even other online courses you can take that are all about repeating words in the scriptures. And you can go take those, like there's layers to this. And so if you want to explore this specific topic in much more depth, we have like 20 plus workshops and 20 online courses. I'm pretty sure that's how many we have. So go enjoy. And then I'll see you guys in day 21, where we start to look at patterns, repeating patterns, themes, which often are indicated by the repeating words you see in a passage. All right. So I'll show you what that means in day 21. You guys go and do this for your own Bible study. Pay attention to repeating words. That is the most basic and most effective skill you could have as a Bible student, is to pay attention to repeating ideas and repeating words. All right. I'll see you guys in day 21.